So it's 14?
Somewhere here.
That's 18, so it's got to be this one, 14.
I'm looking for some this could be.
Yep, this is it right here, 14.
Just for a while.
How about that space right there? So this is the home that Elvis lived in. 14. Ghost Throb. And this is what it looks like. And they've let he would park right out here on the street. His little BMW. I'll show you some photographs of that. And he stayed right here. And they would go behind the house and work and play. I mean, they would play football and all that kind of stuff. And there's kind of, it goes down under there. So this is what it looks like if you look across the street right here. I'm going to turn in a moment. There's a hedgerow right there in that photograph, and no sidewalk. Now there's a sidewalk, but there's no hedgerow to prevent you from seeing the creek. This is it. They stayed right here. And this is what it looks like in the neighborhood. So let's do some pic comparisons. Stay tuned. So if you look at this photograph, you can see the edge of that house. You see the window, and then you can see the overhang right there. And the car was parked somewhere right there. So you can see these windows, you can see that overhang, and you see that window. So the car was parked right in here, somewhere in that neighborhood. So I want you to look at the house right there, which is to the left of 14. That is the house right there behind Grandma and Priscilla, Minnie Mae. There it is again. So here is Elvis putting Priscilla in a car on that street right there, getting ready to drive off. And the street clearly used to be two ways, not just one way like it is now. And one more little tidbit, this is the house where Priscilla and Elvis met the first time, 14 Gostras. So in this photograph right here, you can see the window, and you can see that post right there and that window right there, and the door. You can see the door. So it was taken kind of from this angle right here. And you can see from this photograph, there used to be two posts and a walkway right here. So there was this post, and there was a post right here that is now gone, and they widened it and put a gate. So there used to be two of those and a walk-through gate, and then a gate here to put a car in. But of course, cars were a little smaller at that time. But that is the house right there, friends. Bigger than daytime. All right, so we're going to walk around to the other side, friends, and look in the back. Stay tuned. So we're on Gotstraub. You can see the church over there. Of course, the trees were not this high back then, but the house is down here. And I think the road was wider at the time. The sidewalk was not quite so wide. And of course, you can see people park up kind of on the sidewalk. And it may have been similar to this back then. but it's hard to study the photographs on my phone, as small as they are, with the sunlight. So it is right down here. So you can clearly see what this little neighborhood looked like. And Vernon, I believe, chose this house. And they had the whole house. And the lady that ran the house stayed in an apartment on the very top floor. So, right there. And it's interesting, they have those metal blinds too that pull down. That looks, you can see they have the, or maybe it's wood. They have the blinds that pull down over the windows. Very interesting. Definitely beyond the shadow of a doubt the house. And this is movie director Hal Wallace meeting with Elvis discussing the upcoming movie G.I. Blues. So while I was here, I wanted to fly the Glory over the house so you can get some perspective where the house is as opposed to other things. So we're going to go up and I'm going to do my 360 move where I kind of look around. Let's just look out in the distance and see what we can see. That is the top of the house. I'm going to move forward. What I was looking for was, it's so many photos show that there's photographs and they say that they're done behind the house. Well, all these houses are behind the house. It wasn't until I went back to Bad Nelham the second time that I figured out where these things happened at. And I went back and actually filmed again, which will be in a later episode. It will not be in this group of episodes. But I actually rented a car and went back one more time, this time by myself, so I could investigate a little harder. And I was able to figure out where all those things are as opposed to this house right here. And I found it to be very, very interesting. So I hope when those come out, you will watch those as well. The Glory is back on the ground. Yes, indeed. All right, so if Elvis left here, heading to work, this is what it would look like. Of course, the trees were not this large at that time. Everybody rides bicycles here.
It's actually over here.
They are? Okay, what is this street?
No, I will take this.
This is Schillerstraße.
This evidently was a field back then behind the house. And of course you can clearly see that the houses have been built 60 years ago. You're going back to your right.
Not far away from this house.
Okay, good. This is Jolandstrasse. And his house is right down here on Ghoststrasse. The house is right there. We're at a park, and by the way, I was standing on the other side of that white building right there. That's where Ghoststrasse, 14 Ghoststrasse is over there. The house that he lived in, the actual house, not the hotel, is literally on the other side of that building right there. So it's very close to this spot. And there's a metal rail bridge that I believe we're going to see right down here. And I'll show it to you as soon as we get in the shade. And there's a very particular pattern. I hope to see this pattern on this bridge. It does not look like I'm going to. Looks like they may have changed it. But you got to consider that was 60 years ago. And this appears to have been changed at some point. But this is the spot. You can see the rail. This is clearly different. What is not different is if you look at those two holes down there, you drop down right here, you can see the two holes through the trees down there. There's one and there's the other one. Of course, there's so many trees here now that you can barely make any of this out. But this is the spot. Right here's where it happened at. And of course they've started putting the love locks on this bridge as well. You can see that there's tons of them already. Not as many as in France, but quite a few. But the metal has been changed. Yes, love locks, right? Couples, right?
Bridge of Elvis.
This is the bridge of Elvis, right?
Yeah.
Yes.
There's
Oh, is there a marker over there? Okay, I'll go over there and check it out.
you can see him standing on this bridge.
Yes, it looks like the rails are different, but this is definitely the bridge. Thank you. I didn't realize there was a marker over there.
And if you, it's no marker, but if you look in this direction, you can see it's the same.
Right, yes, you can see
Yeah.
that right there, but that has been changed, the actual bridge. So there's the bridge right there. Thank you so much. Yes, ma'am. There you are, friends, right here. I really had it in my mind, friends, this creek would be a river, and these would be huge bridges, but they're really not very large at all. You can hear the bell tower at the church. It's an odd time for it to ring, 10:45. So Elvis was on this bridge as well. It's like a skateboard down there, right there. But the other bridge is down there, the metal bridge. Bicycle down under that silt right there. So let's take a look at this photo. You can see in the photo there's Elvis on the bridge, and you can see some windows. Which makes me think there would be a building over there, because there's no building, there's nothing over here. This is a park. So I believe that he was, you can see the, right there, you see those two marks right there, boom, 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 right there. So he was standing literally right here. And the other bridge was the metal bridge, which was right down there. Hello, how are you? So there's your marker, friends. You got those two holes right there. And the two holes are still right there. This is the spot. So something interesting is on my phone, I could not see the third hole. Right here, you can see there's a third hole to the right right there. Boom, boom, and look at it over to the right. Did not show up in my phone, but it did show up in the photograph on my computer. So this is what it looks like. Right over the edge. That's your spots. Whenever you come here, look for these two markers. And you can also see a chip there, and that's kind of the middle of the bridge, and you can see that curvature in the picture, or that angle. It looks like flowers, and it's right by this church. So if you find the front of that church right here and walk to the left, the bridge is to the left of the church. Right there, just like that. And I think maybe that building that was in the background would be sitting over there. It looks like it's gone. Carrying the mail. Toting the mail, as it were. So there's the metal bridge. There's the other bridge. I don't know what that is. That looks like that thing that you could see behind Elvis in the field. That is in that photograph. That thing right there. So that field has to be over on the other side where all those houses are right there. So right here's a photograph, and you can see that lighthouse looking thing right behind Elvis that I just showed you. And here's another photograph from a distance, and you can see that. That is actually a salt device to spread salt into the air. And Bad Nelham is famous for that salt stuff like that even back then and now. A lot of carnivals around here. It's Saturday, so they're having carnivals and stuff. Look at that wedding. That right there says 1464. Helicopter flying. And this is, I believe, where Ray Barracks was. Let's see if we can line up any of this. You can see the edge of this building looks like that building, but it's clearly not this side of it. I think it would be the other side of it. So I'm not sure where the entrance is, but you can see this is clearly a military base. They have the Constantine wire and all that stuff. If you park here, they'll tow you. It's locked, clearly. So I'm going to fly the Glory in there, friends, and see if we can see. There's what the barracks that he was in looked like. Of course, I don't like flying with that helicopter in the air here. I'll wait till he's gone. But that's what the front of the barracks that he stayed in looks like, and you can see it's next to that one. It has one little door, that little thing at the top. So let's see if we can find it. Stay tuned. So this was the back side of Ray Barracks. We didn't know where we were. I didn't realize which gate we had gone to, but we made it to Ray Barracks. But this is actually the left rear corner of Ray Barracks. I'm going to fly around and let you look a little bit. And I've sped this up, and so it's not quite so long, so we can just kind of zoom around. And so right here where you can see they're still using those houses, and they look like they may have been base housing at one point, but they're on this side of the fence. So you can see where the cars are. Look over there, there's no cars actually in the base. So I'm looking around in the base trying to find anything that looks familiar to me. And eventually I get over to a point where I recognize the front gate and those areas. And I wasn't real sure where his barracks was, or even if it was still there. The other thing I was concerned with is maybe it had gotten torn down or something. And there is a photograph of him in front of the barracks. But all these buildings are pretty large, and I thought I remembered the barracks being pretty small. So in a moment, you will see a cluster of buildings. Now they're coming into view right here on the left. Those are the barracks right there. His is on the far side, unfortunately, on the very front. In fact, if you look in the middle row right there, there's two trees side by side in the front. That is his barracks. That's 3707. I was in the military, ironically. I was in the Air Force, in my BMTS was 3708, one number different than his. I was in a different branch. I was in the Air Force, and that was in San Antonio, Texas. So a much different thing, but I just thought it was funny. Mine's 3707 or 3708, his 3707. But I'm actually, in a moment, I'm going to go around. I'm going to make a wide sweep. I'm going to see the front gate. You see that gray thing over to the right, looks like a castle. That's by the gate. That is the front gate right there that just went by in the lower view. That roundabout is where they've actually got a monument. And now I'm coming to the front, and I'm going to zoom in. I've paused it, and I'm going to slowly zoom in. I'm going to try to do it faster, but I'm going to zoom in to the front of that barracks, and you'll see it's basically just a hair left the middle of the screen. And you'll see there's two trees that are tall that you can see the trunks are in front of the building. The building to the left of the building I'm talking about, it looks like a full Christmas tree from the ground up. So it's the one that's further to the right. That was dead in the middle of the screen. So now look to the right, bottom right. You see there's the gate going by, the front of Ray Barracks, where you see the famous arch that says Ray Barracks on it. That's the road in front. You can see I've slowed this clip down. You see how slow the cars are going. Out in the distance, you see that roundabout. That is where the Elvis monument is, and I'll show you that in a moment. But if you were to turn left right there and go, that's one of the back gates. So you turn left, go through that gate, which is right there where the cluster of trees is. You go up and make a left turn, and his would be the second barracks on the right. After you make the turn. Now I'm going to spin back around and show you the front gate again. And then I'm going to fly from the front gate all the way back to where I'm at the left rear gate. And then we'll actually drive back around to this side as well. I'm not doing it with the Glory, but we'll drive around here with the car and actually look. But that is where the famous arch is, where the front gate is. And I'll show you some photographs in a moment of this area. Of Elvis standing right out here actually signing autographs. Now I'm going to fly directly back to the left rear gate. And I'm going to drop down in here so you can kind of see. I still wasn't sure what any of these buildings were. The only way I figured out where that barracks was a nice lady that had actually been there when they opened this base during Elvis Week. She actually went to the barracks and took some photographs that had the trees in front of it, so I was able to figure out which one it was based off of her photographs. So I'm going to fly back to the back corner, but as soon as I get there with the Glory, I'm going to show you the pictures that Annalise sent me of her at the base. This is the front of it, and you see the two trees I'm talking about, so that's it. You can see the 3707 on the side. This is her. At the front door, you can clearly see the 3707. So this is definitely Elvis's. She also went to the other end, and you can see it's kind of grown up on the other end. She looked there, but she also looked through a window. So we'll get a little tiny glimpse inside. I wish I could have gone in, but the base is completely locked up and abandoned, and I don't want to get locked up in Germany. I heard that the punishment is to eat a Wiener Schnitzel. So in this video, we're coming from the back left rear corner all the way around the base back to the entrance that I showed you that I believe that he entered in. So that's where we were just at. Oh, there's Elvis up there. Look, y'all.
Where?
Right straight ahead of us.
O, nie, patrzcie. Kręć,
Co to coś stało?
Elvis.
So here is the base right here again. The army home of Elvis Presley.
Nie, musi włączyć przycisk.
So this has to be the front gate.
Yeah.
Yep, this is it right here.
Okay. I'll try to
And what are all these bicycles doing here?
stay.
Let's just stop here for a moment and go. But I think the main gate's further down. But let's go look at this thing. So they have a memorial, friends, for Elvis here when he was in the army. And there's the base. You see that they are saying Ray Barracks. And so what I'm looking for is where that spot right there is, which I don't think is this spot. I think it's one more further down. So we're going to go down there and take a look. But first, I'm walking across the street to see this. This thing appears to be made, I hate to walk out there, but I think it's made out of wood. Yeah, it's just particle board. I thought maybe it was metal, but it's just wood. Yeah. So there you go, friends. So I think the main entrance is further down. Look at these butthead bikers naked out here peeing. They can't wait 3 seconds. So the marker is right behind us. I believe that the next right is the gate. So you'll see that building with the big arch on the right hand side. Because I saw in the glory, I saw a big gate, you know, a big one of those like that, which I believe is right here. It may be the next one, but it could, I think it's this one. Yep, this is it. You see the building right there? Yep. So let's not get so close to it so we can take pictures. Back up a little bit so we can get that, so we can reconstruct that photo. So this used to say Ray Barracks across it.
Be careful.
So this is it right here, friends. This photograph right here, friends. You see the top of the roof of the building. You see the Ray Barracks. He's signing autographs. That happened right here. You could see the top of the roof right there. And clearly the Ray Barracks, the loop is gone. The Americans turned this back over to the Germans, and the sign has been taken down. And of course the gate has changed. This is a more modern gate, clearly. But I think that Ray Barracks may have gone from that over to the next one, over to the top in this area right here. So Elvis would have come through right here to go onto the base. This right here is where it happened. And that building right there is in the photograph. You can clearly see it right there on the right hand side. You can see the edge of that window right there as well in the photograph. So Elvis was standing somewhere, well, he had to be standing far enough back that they could see the Ray barracks, which would have been a loop right here. So somewhere along, he was standing out here. He was standing somewhere in the driveway right here, in my opinion.
Who is Ray Barrack?
That was the guy. He actually, they named this base after him because he jumped. He was a hero. He jumped like on a grenade or something like that and saved his whole company. He was a real soldier. Yeah, an American soldier. Last name Ray. Yep. Happened right here. Friends, he's going to look and see how far it is from where we're sitting at the front of the base to the house, and you can see where the house was. It was 5.4 kilometers. So how much time does it say that would take? It's 11, well,
10 minutes.
Okay. Very cool. So this thing is written in Polish, so we can't read the stuff, but 5.4 kilometers gives you exactly how far it was from the base home. So that gives us an idea of how far he had to drive.
I understand.
There you go. That makes sense.
Very detailed.
Yes. Yes.